Man dreamed of one day making the ultimate journey, flight, the journey to the heavens. Early pioneers from China and Renaissance Europe developed extraordinary flying machines. But according to history, flight itself remained only a distant fantasy until the Wright brothers in 1903. Now, new evidence is threatening to completely rewrite the story of how mankind learned to fly. All across South America, from the desert plains of Peru to the jungle kingdoms of the Amazon, the native South Americans have depicted nature for centuries. We discover the secrets of their culture through stunning murals, pottery, and artifacts. In 1965, deep in the dense Colombian rainforest, a team of explorers made an intriguing discovery. Almost 1,000 years ago, an ancient people known as the Colombian forged these beautiful brooches from gold and copper alloy. At first glance, they appear to be the models of small winged insects, but a second look reveals that there is something highly unusual about these objects. Their design carries anomalies found in no air-breathing creatures in the natural world.
Normally you find it only with fishes, but no animal anywhere has vertical fins. They actually have wings, but of course not on the low edge. All these models have on the low edge the wings. All birds have, of course, the wings on the upper side, and we have it here on the arms or something like that.
As we investigate further, we discover new, unexplained puzzles in the model's design. While all insects have their wings located on the top of their body, this ancient brooch has them at the bottom, a feature found only in modern jet aeroplanes. But there's more. Just like these jets, the brooches have delta-shaped wings. There is a rudder clearly shown, and, quite astonishingly, ailerons. All of these features are found on modern aircraft like the Space Shuttle. This golden model has thus left a fascinating mystery. Could this be a model of an aircraft that actually existed? Did the ancient Colombians understand how to fly over 1,000 years before the first recorded flight? In the Temple of Osiris in Egypt, a stunning, some say chilling, discovery was made that has ignited controversy in the scientific world. Inside the temple, the walls are encoded with hieroglyphics over 2,000 years old. Cut with incredible precision into the ancient rock, these images record the secrets of how generations of pharaohs lived and died. While Egyptologist Dr. Ruth Hover was photographing one of the wall panels, she made a startling discovery.
There was a lot of rubble at my feet, and it looked to me like it had fallen off and incised in the stone itself of this oldest temple along the Nile were these figures. I think the images are of ancient technology. They appear to duplicate technology that we now have.
At the bottom appears to be a depiction of an aircraft with a clearly defined rudder. At the top is a shape clearly identified as a modern-day helicopter. To the right of this is a streamlined water vessel, below which is what appears to be a submarine. These simple images have ignited a fierce debate among Egyptologists and researchers, a debate that challenges all we thought we knew about the ancient Egyptians.
There is something unexplainable and mysterious in this place. Some of the theories say that people came from space to teach the ancient Egyptians. Especially, they say these shapes look like a helicopter.
Yet, could we just be projecting onto these ancient symbols images that are familiar to our own civilization?
I research the anomalous, things that other people aren't willing to look at because they can't figure them out. I'm more than happy to look at them.
But there's more. Piecing together other clues from the walls of this sacred tomb, Dr. Ruth Hover believes that she has deciphered an ancient code containing a message left 2,000 years ago. A message that the Egyptians planned to stay hidden until the day our society was ready to unravel it.
down in the corner of that famous picture, there are a series of symbols, and the numbers are 9. They come out to 9. And 9 is also the number of the planet Mars. Did we come from Mars, or was Mars a stopping place, or was this a symbol that we were just arriving at the ability to get to Mars? We're still uncovering the mysteries of Egypt. It's very exciting.
Yet there is a further twist to the riddle of the ancient Egyptians and flight. 100 years ago, in the oldest known pyramid in all of Egypt, explorers uncovered a cache of artifacts in an ancient tomb. Their findings were left ignored and forgotten in the vaults of the Cairo Museum for decades. Among them, this small wooden carving.
It looks like a bird. It's got a beak marked on, it's got an eye marked on, it's got markings on the tail. It probably was painted with further detail.
At first glance, this 2,000-year-old model may seem insignificant, yet the more the Sakara bird is studied, the deeper the mystery surrounding it becomes.
Maybe it was a toy, maybe it was a weather vane, maybe it's a model of something that actually flew. We don't know.
Found in a vast burial site near Egypt's oldest step pyramid, this simple carving is known as the Sakara bird. It is believed to hold the key to an incredible enigma. What is surprising about the Sakara bird is its aerodynamic precision. The shape of the wing and the fuselage seem to have similarities to modern-day aircraft engineering. Could the ancient Egyptians really have possessed the technology of flight over 2,000 years ago?
Man's always seen the birds and he's wanted to fly himself. And I think the Egyptians thought that flying was a godlike property. And maybe this was their transcending to become gods. One of the ways they would do it would be through flight.
Simon Sanderson is an aerodynamics expert who has long been fascinated by the Sakara bird. He plans to use the latest scientific techniques to unravel whether the ancient Egyptians developed a model for a full-size flying machine. Using cutting-edge technology developed by the University of Liverpool in England, he will conduct the ultimate flying test.
We're actually going to make a model of the Sakara bird which is 5 times bigger than the original, because the original was very small. The Sakara bird is definitely the first step on the way to the understanding of aerodynamics. We're running the glider at a constant speed, slowly increasing the angle of attack, and then measuring the forces which it's producing. That way we can learn about its flight characteristics.
The results are promising. Simon's findings suggest that over 2,000 years ago, the Sakara bird may have soared high above the Egyptian desert. Yet there remains one potentially fatal flaw: stability.
When an aircraft is flying along, if it's disturbed by the wind or if you're controlling it in any way, you need the tail to keep it on the straight and level. I mean, if you pitch up and there's nothing to stop you or bring you back down, you're just going to keep going up and up and up and stall. Without a tailplane, it makes it very, very difficult for aircraft to fly.
But what if the Sakara bird did, in fact, have a tailplane at the time of the ancient Egyptians? At the rear of the carving, a segment has broken away at precisely the point that a tailplane might have been fitted. Simon and his engineers make the crucial adjustments to the model. With the tailplane added, the revamped Sakara bird produces a completely new set of aerodynamic data. But no one knows if the modifications will be enough to save the Sakara bird from crashing down to Earth, feeding this new data into the flight simulator. Simon will carry out the final test flight of the Sakara bird. These last few minutes will determine whether his mission ends in success or in failure. As the pilot takes the controls, the model begins to climb towards the heavens. The Sakara bird glides effortlessly high above the Egyptian plateau, riding the airstreams like an eagle. Over 2,000 years after the ancient Egyptians carved this mysterious bird, modern technology has proved beyond doubt that it could have flown.
It was incredible. And the Egyptians had very sophisticated knowledge in other areas, so why not in aerodynamics as well?
Yet there remains an unanswered question. Could the Egyptians have stumbled unwittingly into a brilliant design, never realizing its incredible aerodynamic properties?
The ancient Egyptians had this model and held it out in the wind, which is probably their equivalent of a modern-day wind tunnel. They would have felt that it had lift, and they'd have definitely looked as to why it produced lift. They probably wouldn't have come up with the modern understanding of lift, but they would have definitely understood something about the properties of the wing.
Our discoveries of the ancient world's secrets have forever transformed our understanding of how planes, trains, and automobiles first came into being. Do we take too much credit for pushing the boundaries of engineering? Or are we merely reinventing the work of the ancients? If we are just at the tip of the iceberg of how the ancient world really worked, what new inventions remain hidden, ready to rewrite the history books?